as anybody knows who knows you well or who's worked with you, we're always looking forward and not often spending a lot of time looking back. But I want to take a moment to go over what's happened over the last 7 years. And to do that, I want to take you back to a phone call that you and I had 7 years ago. I was actually in Sydney and thinking about doing another role as an investor. And I called you. We'd known each other for a long time. I called you to ask your view on it. And you just said to me straight up, you were like, don't do that. Come and build Antler with me. Yeah. So I want to go back to that phone call and what was in your mind at that time. What were you thinking you were going to build?
Yeah, so it was magical times. Just finished building my last company, and we saw a lot of the tremendous people we had the honor of building that company with leave to build the next generation great companies in the region. And it was pretty clear that innovation was becoming more decentralized. People all over the world was building really amazing companies, and they were growing incredibly fast. And on top of that, you have this high concentration of talent in certain circles, particularly in companies that have really succeeded in the past, that are building incredibly great businesses. And we thought it's a great opportunity to build a global platform that supports these founders from day zero, where you can literally provide the same amount of service, networks, mentorship, access to capital, as some of the bigger later stage firms would do at the really, really early stages. And we had really kind of no doubt that this would be an incredible thing and hopefully a great contribution to the ecosystem. So when you called up, I was 100% certain that this was something we could do together. And yeah, that was a great phone call.
Yeah, you were very emphatic about it. I don't think people probably realize how much of an insight that was, though, at the time. Like when you launched Zalora, there were only 4 transacting internet sites in Indonesia, right? And so this idea that technology was going to be widespread, that you would be able to found category-defining companies in every geography was not necessarily obvious at that point in time. Like, you know, what was it that you saw building Zalora that made you have this realization, sure, the US might be the center of gravity, but there's a lot more going on here in a much wider number of countries?
Well, so number one was obviously a lot of our colleagues left to build really great businesses. So we have Shopee in Southeast Asia, biggest e-commerce business now in Southeast Asia and Brazil, which is part of C Group, $80 billion business. We had Gojek, obviously, Kevin and Nadeem who built that was part of our team for a while, and they IPO'd at a $23 billion valuation. Shopback, Aura, Lockout, Stashaway, really great businesses coming out of one small community. So you could see it hands-on. And then obviously intellectually, there are all these things happening, right? People have been talking about globalization for ages, but it's really only the last kind of 5 to 10 years where you can access a global customer base from anywhere, whether it's B2C or B2B. We also obviously saw the cost of building businesses going down drastically. And you see it even more now with AI, right? You can build really great businesses quickly from any location. And we were part of the whole cloud revolution, the mobile revolution, the internet revolution, and all of what that provided, which just makes it cheaper to solve great ideas, which actually gives an advantage to places where you can access really great talent that is working hard, and you can really do that from anywhere. And you also saw examples from other ecosystems across the globe where that was happening, right? And if you look a decade back in time, there was, 30 cities or so globally that had built a unicorn. And you fast forward to today, I think it's more than 130.
Yeah.
And so both from experience working with these great people, but also just intellectually, and if you look at everything happening around you, it was the right time really to do what we were doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see that thesis has really been borne out, right? I mean, if you look around the portfolio, not just Lovable, PKI, you've got Written in Korea, Unseen in Australia. Like we're seeing really some of these breakout AI companies across our portfolio coming from all of these different geographies. So that part, I think we can tick that off, right? Like we got there on that. There's also this element that when you started, you know, I mean, you took a big risk, right? And you must have had a lot of conviction, and you had a lot of conviction about, you know, the way that you wanted to sit down with founders and support them. And that obviously started in a pretty basic way. Talk about those first months in Singapore, because you built it in Singapore originally. Talk us through what that building process looked like.
I just left the last company that was acquired. I stayed there for the 2-year management lock-in, and then decided I wanted to build something new, and spent about half a year iterating actually a number of different business models. And Antler was one of the things I was very excited about for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. On top of that, I had the ability, earlier I worked in McKinsey, and with Global Fashion Group who acquired Zalora, we worked all across the globe. So you could see this not only happening in Asia, but really all over the world. So that was one of the ideas. And then there was a few other things. We looked at the PropTech idea, FinTech idea, and basically was just excited about the opportunities to solve an important problem and build a great company around it. And then I think the journey of building a business, I think it's a lot for a lot of founders, is that as you iterate various ideas and you think about things more and more, and the whole Antler thing I thought about for more than a decade, wanting to do something like this. As you have different choices, at some point of time you get intellectually convinced, and then you work on it more, and then at some point of time you wake up in the morning and it's the only thing you think about, and that I think is when you realize that you should go and build it, right? Yeah. And for me that happened through a 6-month period. During that period we also went and talked to every VC in the world who would do a meeting with us, every accelerator, every incubator. We talked to also very successful businesses who built a large pipeline of talent and looked at how they found the ones that they needed. And then, just make the decision end of December. And then remember we were writing down the setup of the website, and we got a really great developer in Venezuela on one of those websites where you can get support. In 2 days, we launched the website. And then we need to get great people on board, right, to build this. And we brought on board, I think, some tremendous people in the early days, where actually all of them are still part of the team, which is very exciting, and started looking for great founders. Obviously, when we did it the first time, it was mostly through our networks. You'd literally call up any person you know. Hey, do you know any great founder talent? Do you know anyone who's thinking about building a company? And we ended up having something in the vicinity of 800-900 conversations, probably looked at about 1,200 people or something like this. And out of that came 62 founders we were very excited about. And we invited them all to come to Singapore. People flew in from the US, from Europe, from all over Asia. They came to Singapore. We said we're going to work with you for 3 months. And then if you build an incredible founder team and you're making traction with your business, and we're excited about the business model and the team, we'll back you with capital. So that's how it all started. Now, obviously, at the time, we'd planned out these 3 months pretty much in detail, how we're going to work together and so on. And then you come in there the first day, and a tremendous amount of energy in the room, 62 people who are in the process of setting up a company. And they're incredibly excited about, obviously, the journey ahead of them, and are ready to work 100 hours a week to realize it. And then obviously you very quickly kind of realize where we're more and more going today, which is, this is not a program, this is not a residency, it's not it's literally just a way.
It's not a school.
It's not a school. It's just a place to gather insane talent that is in the process of building something truly amazing, and creating as much energy around that as you can. Some people need co-founders, some people already have them, some people are very clear on what they want to build, and it's about iterating that and creating as much momentum as possible. Some people are iterating multiple ideas, and everyone's journey is quite different, right? And so we threw out a lot of the planning, and it all became about, okay, how can we help as much as possible to make you as a founder succeed?